Hello everyone, and welcome once again to the Adventures Travel Club television show. Betty and I have a very special guest with us on this particular episode of the Adventures Travel Club television show. I'd like you to meet at this particular time Licenciado Cecilio Hernandez, who is the Regional Director, Western Director of the United States for the Mexican Government Tourism Office. And Mr. Hernandez, we'd like to welcome you to Fresno and also to Channel 49, and we're going to find out some interesting things on this particular episode of Adventures Travel Club television show about our neighbor to the south, Mexico, a great country indeed. And again, we'd like to welcome you, and you have brought with us, I should say today, a special videotape starring a gentleman who has been on Channel 49 before, Ricardo Montalban. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, first of all, I want to thank you very much for this invitation. Both of you, Betty and Marvin, for giving me the chance to talk to your audience and share with you a little bit about Mexico. And in this video called My Mexico with Ricardo Montalban, what we're trying to portray is give you a little sample of what is Mexico all about. And the nice thing about this video is that it's a general, it's an overview of Mexico, where you would find Ricardo talking about archaeological sites, our colonial towns, our wonderful beach resorts, our areas such as Copper Canyon and so, and of course, who could miss our wonderful asset of our warm people.
Yes.
Wonderful, friendly.
Yes, indeed.
Hospitable people.
Yes, indeed.
So you will be able to enjoy and to learn a little bit about what this country is all about, this big country.
That'll be interesting. I'm sure our viewers will look at that. Everybody loves Ricardo Montalban also, so with him narrating it, it will just take on extra meaning for us.
Good. So what do you say then? Right now, let's take a look at that videotape that Mr. Hernandez has brought it, and we'll be back right after we see Ricardo Montalban's My Mexico.
That's correct.
Hola, mis amigos. Or should I say, hello? I am Ricardo Montalban, and I am from Mexico. Oh, yes, I know what you're thinking. You already have in your mind visions of my country, but your visions are not all there is to my Mexico. That is why I want you to know what Mexico is really like. My Mexico. How should I speak of my Mexico? Perhaps I should say it is a land where the sky and the people are always filled with sunshine. A land with cities built out of history and fabulous seacoast resorts with beaches of gold. Colonial cities almost untouched by time and canyons that will take your breath away. It has been said, one does not explain Mexico, one believes in Mexico with fury and passion. Let me show her to you through my eyes, the eyes of one who knows her well. Where can I start? Well, I guess at the beginning, some 3,000 years ago. Tell me, is there anywhere else in the world where so many lost civilizations existed? Fortunately, much of the lost has been found. We have over 11,000 archaeological sites. Let me take you to some of my favorite ancient haunts. Does this sight not stir your soul and pique your imagination? Less than an hour from Mexico City is Teotihuacan, once the most powerful city in the New World. Here there are many pyramids. The biggest is the Pyramid of the Sun, which some say may have taken 20 years to build. Through the heart of a lush Mexican jungle is for me the most beautiful ancient site in Mexico, Palenque. High in the mountains of Chiapas state, Palenque is believed to have been the ceremonial center for a great Mayan dynasty. The setting alone is enough to inspire religious belief. Close by is another wonder, the Aguazul Falls. Water so clear and colorful, it must have been a gift from the gods. Chichen Itza. If you close your eyes and listen, you can almost feel the presence of souls long gone from this earth. Smell the air. Your mind is forced back into time. The earth moves as invisible crowds of people go about their business. But you are never afraid. It is a wondrous experience. One moment you are in an ancient city surrounded by jungle as far as the eye can see. And just minutes later, you are in one of the many luxurious modern resort hotels that surround our historical sites. Even our ancestors loved the seaside. Mayan kings built Tulum, overlooking one of the most beautiful beaches in the Yucatan Peninsula. And the kings left beaches for you to enjoy as well, like Akumal, a paradise of emerald green waters and lush surroundings, which will provide all its visitors with a perfectly relaxed holiday. North of Akumal, even more pleasure is to be had. In Cancun, the beaches have a pure white sand, unique in all the world. It is so soft, it feels like talcum powder on your skin. If you are a diver, there is no place on earth better than the Palancar Reef in Cozumel. The sea is so clear and filled with life, it is like swimming through sunlit jewels. It is the second largest reef in the world. From the Caribbean Sea and the Gulf of Mexico to the Sea of Cortés and the Pacific Ocean, Mexico has over 6,000 miles of beaches. And everyone is blessed with year-round sun. But there is more than beaches under the Mexican sun. There is romance and history. Come, let me show you our colonial cities, built in the 16th through 18th centuries. Shimmering basilica domes and breathtaking architecture. In San Miguel de Allende, walking in the streets is like walking in an art museum. The artistic nature of the city, along with its village atmosphere, gives San Miguel its own special magic. Ah, Oaxaca. No other colonial city has its color and its history. There is a great feeling of family in the streets of Oaxaca, and it's no wonder. A great number of the city's residents are direct descendants of the Zapotec and Mixtec cultures. High in the hills of the Sierra Madre is fabulous Tasco. It appears as a sea of red tile and white stucco flowing peacefully down a hillside. In the 16th century, the Spaniards were lured to Tasco by its rich silver mines. Today, Tasco's silver shops outnumber grocery shops, and everywhere you turn, you'll see artisans at work, creating beauty from raw metal. In Guanajuato, the streets are ablaze with color and design. Your eyes will not allow you to walk fast through Guanajuato. At every corner, there is another sight to enjoy and remember. And there is a legend, too. The Alley of the Kiss, El Callejón del Beso, is so narrow that two lovers kept apart by their families were still able to kiss sitting in windows on opposite sides of the street. As you can see, there is no shortage of romance in My Mexico. Well, after such an emotional experience, I think it's time we go back to the beaches. Let's fly to the Sea of Cortés, where you'll find one of My Mexico's best-kept secrets, Los Cabos, on the Baja California coast. Los Cabos has an average of 360 days of sunshine a year. When you hear the word Baja, you may think of rugged country. There is nothing rugged at all about Los Cabos' luxurious oceanside resorts. From freshwater fishing to whales, Los Cabos is a paradise for fishermen. It is said there are more marlin here than people. Do you see how magical the lands of My Mexico are? Well, there is even more magic in the hands of Mexico. Our art comes from the roots of Mexico itself. It is born of our heritage, and it is filled with our pride. Clay pots that were once used for cooking have evolved into masterpieces of design. And as for color, in Mexico there is no such thing as muted color. we see and think of colors as the rainbow does, with purity and vibrance. We use this quality of color in all our crafts, like lacquer from bat squirrel and exquisite embroidery. You will also find metal in highly original forms, from precious silver to copper, right down to tin. Lovely, fragile objects, so beautiful, it is as if they had a life of their own.
Well, that was a very interesting film indeed, and I certainly hope that you enjoy that, and I certainly hope that you learned a little bit with the Ricardo Montalban about our neighbor to the south, our good neighbor to the south, Mexico. And of course, I would like to reintroduce you again to our special guest that Betty and I have here on the Adventures Travel Club television show, Licenciado Cecilio Hernandez, who is the regional director of the western part of the United States for the Mexican Government Tourism Office. It sounds to me as though you have a very, very interesting job, Mr. Hernandez. I'd kind of like to do that myself, wouldn't you, Betty?
No, thank you. I'll take what I have. Okay. No, I'm teasing, because you do get to travel a lot on your own. You don't have groups with you, so that's kind of...
It's very interesting, particularly when you travel in a country like Mexico. And besides of having to travel, you're able to enjoy the ranges of this country. And it's quite an experience, to tell you the truth. And I love my job. I just love it.
Tell me a little something about Mexico as far as my people going down there. Do you have all new facilities, new roads, new wonderful things that they will be experiencing if they haven't been there for some time? Is that right?
That's correct. As a matter of fact, the Mexican Ministry of Tourism, it's displaying this year a new campaign, integrated marketing program, where we're showing the consumer that Mexico is not only what everybody thinks, which is beach resorts. Of course, we enjoy having one of the wonderful, most beautiful beaches in the world. But Mexico is much more than that. You are able to enjoy in Mexico 3,000 years of history. In those magnificent archaeological sites of Chichen Itza, Uxmal in the Yucatan, or Teotihuacan in the Mexico City area. And of course, who will not be able to enjoy our wonderful, wonderful colonial cities?
Ah, yes.
Colonial cities that you are transported to this 16th, 17th, 18th century, and you are able to enjoy the tranquility of these charming, quaint little towns, where you find not only a nice hotels to relax, but you find the handicraft of this artist in this wonderful little towns. And one of my favorites, I suppose that it will be also yours when you get to come to enjoy our colonial towns. It's what they call the Route of the Independence, where you start in Mexico City, you travel to Querétaro, to San Miguel de Allende, Dolores Hidalgo, where was the cry of independence, and Guanajuato. And one thing that it's important to let the public know is that our infrastructure in all these cities have improved 1,000%, I would say. And not only that, but the hotel inventory has increased dramatically. So this is something that you can enjoy coming to Mexico and still be able to get a glimpse of Puerto Vallarta, for example, or Huatulco, or Mazatlan, just to mention some of them. I tell you that I had a recently very nice experience myself. We had a convention last May in Acapulco, which we held on a yearly basis for the travel industry, with the purpose exactly to show them how Mexico has changed in tourism. How have we grown for the good and to improve our infrastructure. So in May, after the Tianguis, I decided to go myself to discover a little bit of this.
It sold you.
That's right. And I had the opportunity to visit a very particular circuit that I think is wonderful. Because after the convention in Acapulco, we flew into Mexico City. Then we did a sightseeing in the downtown area that I really enjoyed because I hadn't been in that particular area in a couple of years. And it was nice to me to go back to the Museum of the Great Temple, Museo del Templo Mayor, right in the heart of Mexico City. And so it was really refreshing.
Did you climb the pyramid?
No, but let me tell you,
Oh.
I didn't try that.
You didn't do
try
that? Okay.
The museum itself is very, very interesting. Then from there, we took a flight into Oaxaca. Oaxaca is one of the nicest colonial cities in Mexico, with that beautiful temple of Santo Domingo. And just, I was amazed to see how much has this city changed, because I was in Oaxaca 10 years ago. So I really wanted to get an update on what we are selling, what we are promoting. And the changes have been dramatic. It's so beautiful, and I would recommend anyone to really want to find the Mexican atmosphere, the tranquility, and the history in Oaxaca. Then being in Oaxaca, where we enjoy a great, delicious cuisine. Oaxaca is one of the richest regions as far as cuisine goes in Mexico. We had the opportunity to visit the archaeological sites of Monte Alban and Mitla. Go back 3,000 years and to learn how great these cultures were. Because actually, we're talking of cultures who are the seed in America, you know? And when you see these great temples, these great cities, then you realize, you know, I mean, we're just, we don't have to go to Europe. We don't have to go to take a 12-hour flight to discover, you know, what the history can show us. Just having these examples of culture like in the Yucatan, in Oaxaca, or in Mexico City, the Teotihuacans. You can see the splendor of this great people. So we enjoy in this trip going to the ruins, and of course after 5 days we need a little bit of water and relaxation in the beach. So we took a flight down to Huatulco, which is 40 minutes from Oaxaca. They have 3 flights daily onto Huatulco. And Huatulco, just to give you an idea, is one of the 5 mega resorts that the Mexican government has developed in the last 25 years. We can mention Cancun, Los Cabos, Ixtapa, Loreto, and Huatulco. And this last one, it's unspoiled. It's just starting to be developed. So when you find yourself in Huatulco, you find away from it all. It's just so natural, still not developed. So this is the time to go before it gets into like Cancun. But and so we enjoy this wonderful beach resort of Huatulco, not crowded, and still have the chance to go to see the locals to the little town of Santa Cruz. So in this 7-day trip, I was able to taste and enjoy in Mexico the great temples of Monte Alban and Mitla, the beautiful colonial town of Oaxaca, and very modern and lovely beach resort of Huatulco. And this is what we are trying to portray and to invite our people, the consumers, to have the opportunity to go to Mexico to enjoy all of this that I'm just talking to you about. Not only the beach resorts, but to learn about our culture, to learn about our customs, to get a touch of the people, because people in Mexico, it's very warm, very hospitable. They give you their heart. They really make you feel welcome to the country. And I tell you, it's quite an experience. I had the opportunity to go with a group of media and some travel agents. And I would say that all of them were really impressed and amazed to learn so much about the country that they would have done it, in a different, separate trips. So what we are trying to do, what the Mexico Ministry of Tourism is trying to do is show the people, not only of the United States, but of Canada, worldwide, because our marketing program, it's worldwide, with an advertising campaign, our public relations, and our direct marketing, that Mexico has this add value that will give you the opportunity to enjoy many things within one trip. Mm-hmm. And I was giving you before the example that if you are able to visit Cancun, which is one of our most popular beach resorts, you're able to enjoy right there, a few minutes away, the archaeological sites of Chichen Itza, Uxmal, Palenque, part of what we call the Mayan world, the Ruta Maya.
Are they still discovering more archaeological sites in the Yucatan?
Oh yeah. This process, I think, is going to take many, many years because there are so many areas still undiscovered. Mm-hmm. And the more they dig, the more they find, sites and things.
That really has to be fascinating because here the history it just keeps reappearing and more they find out. And those civilizations, like the Mayan civilization, Aztec civilization, were marvelous and so far advanced in so many things they did. And I think a lot of us here in the Western world don't realize that. I mean, we keep saying that we thought that Europe had so many advantages, but when we go back and study the history of both the Mayans and the Aztecs, we found out that they had a lot of things, medical advances that Europe didn't even know about.
We were in Mexico City not too long ago, and the excavation is going right there, right near the cathedral. It's just deep, way down.
The Templo Mayor.
Yes.
And as you're aware, this was discovered just back in 1978. But what we feel is that, and what we are doing is try to educate not only the travel agent but the consumer of all these attractions that Mexico has to offer. And think of Mexico not as the neighbor of the South that offers a weekend, or that offer beach towns. But as I mentioned, where you can discover amazing things, where you can and enjoy our great artisans, our great cuisine. And if we start talking about this wonderful country, and not because I'm representing the Ministry of Tourism here, but because you really are amazed when you start traveling and when you start seeing all these places that you never thought of them. And I'm going to tell you that once you start speaking about what you find in Mexico, what we got to offer, then you start thinking about this ecological circuit in the Sea of Cortez and the Copper Canyon. Yeah. The Copper Canyon in the Sierra Madre, as you know, starts in the state of Chihuahua and ends in the state of Sinaloa. And the Copper Canyon is 4 times larger than the Grand Canyon.
Hard to believe.
It's when I learned that myself, I was really amazed.
Yes,
I couldn't believe it. And you take the train, driving the train and taking this tour is really quite an experience, because you take the train either in Sinaloa and the Topolobampo area, in Mochis, or in Chihuahua. Either way. And it's a 12-hour trip. But you pass by this beautiful scenery. And you pass 86 tunnels. 86 tunnels. And once you are in the middle of the canyon, which is the Divisadero, you can right there get off the train and start your tour right in the Divisadero. Because you can go climbing, you can go down to the river, there's a river, fishing, and they have particularly tours to go fishing and to go hiking and horseback riding. I mean, there's all sorts of activities that you can enjoy. And right at the Divisadero, there's a 120 rooms hotel, in fact, called the Divisadero. So you really are able to enjoy this scenery. And for those one who love adventure travel, that will be
the place, huh?
the place to visit.
It has become a lot more refined, hasn't it? When the first traveling to Copper Canyon, it was pretty rustic, pretty primitive, but it is now really an easy place to go. You don't sleep on floors, and you don't go on the trains that have all the chickens and things.
That's correct.
As it was at one time. So that's something nice to know, that it's a more comfortable trip.
And we're going to have to find out more about that later, because we're out of time for this program. So, Mr. Hernandez, we'd like to thank you very much for being with us this time, and hope that you'll come back and visit us again on another time. And we'd like to thank you for being with us, and we will have more programs exploring the wonderful adventures in Mexico. Thank you very much for being with us. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.